OLPC got officially launched. So
Okay.
it was already existing. But
Okay.
it was existing as an idea that became tangible in the form of a mock-up laptop. And afterwards, the official mass production went on end of 2007, when we did the first campaign, G1 in the United States.
And was that successful, that campaign, or?
That campaign was extremely successful because in 6 weeks' time, OLPC had a sale of almost 200,000 units.
Wow.
And that was in a format where the US buyers were purchasing for $400, $399, 2 units receiving one, and the second unit was going to be donated to a country in the developing world.
Okay.
We have right now a presence in more than 60 countries with 25 languages developed and 2.5 million laptops in the hands of children.
14 projects, right? So we've got Armenia,
Wow.
Afghanistan, Madagascar, Jamaica, India, South Africa,
All
Senegal.
started in San Francisco. Really?
All started by people in the Bay Area.
Wow.
You know, either families, foundations, schools, you know,
Wow.
that kind of stuff. Haiti, and so it started to grow. And so in 2009, I said, okay, you know what we should do? We should just gather all these people. We do half-a-day workshop, right?
Yeah.
In 2010, we were going to do the local conference again with all of our local groups. And somebody from OLPC said, we'd like to join in because some of us will be in town. I'm like, oh, great, come join us, right? And then the word gets out, and then some more people say, yeah, we'd like to join. And then they go, hey, this could be the event where we all sort of get together. And so it went from being a local 30 people event to a global 130 people event.
It's amazing.
Completely out of control.
Motor power. Aha, this is a motor power. We need that.
Where did you?
I just asked Rich to just said motor power somehow. So we need that stop button.
So what do you think this teaches kids?
Oh, how do we put this together? How to be more powerful. So you need some something.
What do I think it teaches kids?
Sure.
Soccer. Here's some braces as we're doubling the length of the.
Well, I think that it's like trial and error sort of
You can do it on both sides if you want to.
problem solving here, because you have a whole bunch of different tasks that control different aspects of the motor, and we're having trouble figuring out how to make it just a pretty good hard kick, and so we're sort of slowly learning what the different pieces are and how to sort of translate what's on our screen into our real world.
Very
Because
good.
there's no words on this. We have to just figure out what the symbols do.
Okay.
We've never used the software before.
So last year we built a map, OLPCmap.net.
That's right.
Which is not an official OLPC map, but it has little pins with all of the implementations around the world. And it's allowed, for instance, if I'm in Kenya, I can go into the map and I can see, there are a bunch of other do-it-yourself small implementations going on in Kenya, and I can contact them.
Has there been? And have you contacted these folks?
Yeah, absolutely. And people have contacted us.
Really?
Volunteered time.
De Imani basisschool in Kibwezi op het platteland van Kenia heeft net 100 XO's gekregen via de kerk. De kinderlaptop is net zo groot als een leesboek en kost maar €150.
Make sure you use the left hand.
De XO heeft een goede batterij, waardoor kinderen uren kunnen oefenen met tekenen, lezen en schrijven en iets leren van de natuur. En met de ingebouwde camera kun je foto's van jezelf maken. En de XO kan ook je naam voorlezen. En deze naam hoort bij deze jonge dame uit klas 3. Ze is 8 jaar en ze vindt haar XO geweldig.
My name is Anne Wanjiko and I like the activity of painting.
Make activity.
entregar una computadora. La maestra me llamó y me dio una compu con mi nombre. Y nos dio más y más computadoras. Hasta que todos los niños de todas las escuelas tuvimos nuestras propias computadoras. Un montón de señores se pusieron a trabajar para que yo y mis amigos tengamos internet en la escuela. Y todos tuvimos que aprender cosas nuevas, hasta los maestros. Los liceos también tienen computadoras.
Ser un único país, que los niños tienen acceso de todas las clases sociales a esta herramienta, bueno, ni que hablar, que data de que la importancia y el interés que hay en que la educación sea cada vez mejor.
So where do you see it in 5 years?
I'm just going to speak about small implementations rather than OLPC. Last year, the map showed us how many of us there were around the world, and this year we really made a step forward in terms of actually connecting not just nationally, like the small implementations in Kenya, but more internationally, similarly sized implementations, so that we can start cross-pollinating ideas, supporting each other with resources, with fundraising, and so on. So as a small implementation, that's a real step forward. The idea that we know other small implementations exist, and I'm going to quote somebody, and I can't remember who I stole it from, so I'll apologize. But the idea was not just that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but that we make sure that we not reinvent the flat tire. The things that fail in one implementation are communicated to the other implementations, so that we don't make the same mistakes. And I think that's a really great development.
Actually, talk a little bit about the ideas between having Moodle be a center of collaboration.
It's based on social constructivist learning.
Okay.
So his deal was that the interface in Moodle is very much driven by constructivism and social constructivism. So, for instance, you would not go in there and say, add a forum. You would go in there and say, add a discussion about a specific topic. It's very topic and activity oriented.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if you switch over to Sugar, you'll see it's also very activity oriented.
Okay.
Right? We don't have a word processor. We have write activity.
Okay.
Right. We have write, read, record, chat, paint, which are all verb based.
Okay.
Right. Action oriented.
Okay.
So there is that parallel you have between Moodle and the Sugar world, which is they're both driven by sort of these large umbrellas of constructivist learning theories. That that whole idea of the critical mass, unless you hit that point, the tipping point where the critical mass then occurs, is hard to get to, right? So initially everybody says, oh, this stuff, I don't know about Moodle. I'll solve the problem using something I am familiar with.
Right.
Which is okay, but if we use Moodle, for instance, and everybody puts their effort behind one platform, then you have the beauty of being able to exchange pieces. Right?
That's a beautiful thing.
Right. So,
could you imagine throughout the world to be able to exchange
so
pieces?
For instance, let's say we had Moodle pieces developed in Spanish in Peru, and you would like to use some of those Moodle pieces in Spanish at a school here in the city.
Right.
It's going to be a drop-in.
Right. It's going to be very easy to do. Yes.
Right. So that's the beauty of it, which is once we get to that point, it will actually flow. But then there is this other view, which Negroponte sometimes calls lowercase OLPC.
Okay.
Which is the concept, which is every child should have a computer. Right? So if it's not the green machine, if it's the tablet that India is producing, or if it's the classmate PC that Intel produces, or it's whatever, it still serves the purpose.
Right.
And so many of us in the project believe that that's still the ultimate goal, which is, yes, if it was the green machine with the constructivist learning and the constructionism and all that stuff, fantastic.
And it's not.
But even if that's not done, and you still have like a smartphone or an Android tablet, which will give you access to information, which will give you access to Wikipedia.
The goal was achieved.
I think the goal is achieved. Right?
Lowercase o.
Yeah. So lowercase OLPC definitely is sort of the long run, and 5 years from now, I think it's going to be very different in terms of people having access to information and what they do with it. Everything in this project is under a free and open source type license. Think of that as an exit strategy. So tomorrow, if this project dies, all that investment is still there.
Right.
Because it doesn't go with the project, right? I
Right.
mean, all that work is still out there in the common space.
Right.
So if OLPC dies tomorrow and we no longer have any green laptops and all of that stuff, let's hope not, but let's say that happens, all that effort that went into the project will still be here. It's still usable by us. So I have no problems, devoting my resources into an effort like that.
Right.
Because I know come tomorrow, it'll still be there.